You're getting ready to do another episode right now.
I've always said that if my son thinks of me as one of his idiot friends, then I've succeeded as a dad.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. Boy, we sure need this rain. Give it up for your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I'm Darin.
And this is Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast.
Hey, kids.
I thought you were going to get over the speed bump of the laugh, and then you came back with the crusty thing.
Tonight on the show, I want to talk about Hanson. And I don't think Mike's going to want to, but I don't care.
Oh, I've got all kinds of things to say
They
about
have
Hanson.
rebooted Mmm Bop,
Okay.
and I think it's badass.
Okay.
And we can't even probably play part of the song.
No,
We'll get
we're not going to
sued.
do that yet. We're not going to do that. And I'm going to talk about hot dogs, an American classic.
See, you said that last episode.
Mhm.
You said that the episode before that.
Darin.
So before we go on,
Yeah.
Mike, what's the deal? What's the deal with hot dogs?
You know, for years, people complained about hot dogs.
Mhm.
They're nothing but lips and holes.
Yes.
Why would you want to
Thank
put
you,
that
John Candy.
in bread and eat it?
Because it's
And
delicious.
I agreed with that.
Yeah.
I agreed with that. They give me heartburn.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice that I ate hot dogs when you came over. I had two hot dogs that I grilled,
Yeah.
and I ate them, and then I just had to take some Tums because I've got hot dog heartburn. I get hot dog heartburn.
That's weird.
I know.
Okay.
I get it from pizza,
Mm-hmm.
grease in general, which is typically found on pizza,
Right.
and hot dogs. I always get heartburn. Now, I eat like really hot, spicy wings, really spicy stuff, curry, all that stuff. Doesn't give me heartburn. Pizza, hot dogs, they give me heartburn.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't care. It's
Yeah.
what happens. That's how I am. Thank God I didn't have like any weird diseases, or I don't know that I have any yet.
Right.
But I do have that, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I'll take a handful of Tums every time I have a hot dog or pizza. The point is
Okay.
that back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
the way that I ate hot dogs was you poke it with the fork,
Mm-hmm.
you wrap it in a paper towel, you put it in a microwave 30 seconds, put it in a bun, slap some ketchup on it, and eat that thing.
Bam. Yeah.
I kind of got sick of that.
Yeah.
We
Microwaving
have-
it makes them kind of stretchy, kind of leathery,
Yeah.
kind of chewy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a grill.
Yeah.
And I grill so much that my family gets sick of it. It's like, we're having steak again.
I've started grilling more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just recently, I've learned how to grill chicken. And I know you think grilling chicken is easy.
It's not.
It's always been hard for me.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I'm a master of steak. So much so,
Okay.
last night we went to the Capitol Grill, which is
Okay.
a high-end steak place here in the Cincinnatis.
Okay.
Or this is one of the places it's at. And we got it, and I'm like, this is not as good as Daddy's steak.
Yeah.
It's objectively not as good as what I can produce
Yeah.
on that grill out there. But we kind of get sick of doing the same things all the time. I started grilling hot dogs as part of the thing.
Yeah.
And the grilled hot dog
Mm-hmm.
versus a microwave hot dog,
Yeah.
there's no comparison.
Okay.
And then I got a wild hair up my ass.
Oh.
I was in Kroger and I saw yellow mustard. And I thought there's no condiment more obnoxious than yellow mustard.
I hate yellow mustard.
I'm buying some.
Okay.
Couple of weeks ago, all these things hit at the same time. I grilled a hot dog,
Mhm.
I had yellow mustard, and I had the old standby ketchup.
The planets align.
Planets aligned. I put
Wow.
all those things together, and I almost choked on the first bite of that hot dog. And I said, and I quote, and Beth said,
I
what?
don't know if I have to with you or not.
And it was amazing.
Uh-huh.
I grilled 2 more hot dogs.
Yep.
You should only have 2 hot dogs at any given time.
That's true.
I had 3 at this moment. I had to go lie down.
Yeah.
If you here's what I'm saying. Give me 2 hot dogs, give me some mustard,
I'm
give
ha-
me ketchup. I'm a happy guy.
happy
I'm
guy.
a happy guy.
Yeah.
And I've gotten judgmental of hot dogs that aren't made that way. Like
Right.
if we go to a concert at the River Bends and you get a $15 hot dog from them, they pull a dilapidated wiener from the water.
Yeah.
They throw it in a bun. They wrap it up in foil and they throw it at your face.
Don't they have them on the rollers?
I don't know. I think they just have a water bath of sad wieners in
Yeah,
there.
I know that's how the street vendors do it.
Yeah.
Street vendors in New York and wherever, check local listings. Whenever you find your street vendor, they've got them in the hot dog water.
What you do?
And I can eat a boiled hot dog. I don't like a microwave hot dog, but I can boil a hot dog.
I don't want a boiled hot dog. I want a grilled hot dog. I want it to be blistered and have little black marks, the grill marks.
Now,
all
I
down
can
it.
also fry it up in a skillet and eat it, and I like it that way. But I'm not going to fire up the grill for a hot dog.
I do that all the time.
Okay, yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I do. So I won't fire up the grill at 2 a.m. for a steak or a cheese. Well, I have done it for a cheeseburger.
Right.
But I will for a hot dog.
Right. So a hot dog story. At our church, they have a lot of volunteer opportunities. Okay. So what we were going to do was we were going to this very low income, poverty-stricken neighborhood in the Cincinnati area.
Okay.
And it was near Halloween. So all the adults and kids were encouraged to dress up. What we're going to do is we're going to go to this neighborhood and we are going to all bring donations. Okay, for the people in this neighborhood. Yeah. And we were going to grill hot dogs. Okay. And it's going to be like a thing. There's going to be games for the kids and face painting. Yeah. And any person who lived in the neighborhood can come and eat as many hot dogs as they wanted to. So we went, and I was on one of the teams that was grilling the hot dogs. I wasn't grilling, but I was bunning them. And wrapping them. I would put them in the buns and wrap them.
You were key to the process.
I was like the fourth cog in the wheel, so to speak. And I was dressed as Troy Polamalu from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. He's the guy with the really long black curly hair. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm dressed as Troy Polamalu. I got my Polamalu jersey, a hoodie over or under my jersey, and I've got this long black curly-haired wig with the Steelers hat on backwards. And I'm bagging up these hot dogs for a couple of hours. And I'm handing out hot dogs. Finally, I was just like exhausted and I was getting really hot. And I said, I can't do this anymore. And I took off my hat and pulled off my wig. Nobody around there knew it was a wig.
What happened?
They're like, what?
You blew minds that day.
They didn't know. I'm like, you guys have, I mean, I know there was a lot of people that I met for the first time. But they did not know that it was a wig. Thing was, we brought way too many hot dogs. We had like 50 or to 100 extra hot dogs, and we're just grilling and grilling and grilling, and they're just piling up, and they're like, I think we're making too many hot dogs here. Why don't you go ahead and grab one if you're hungry? So I ate a hot dog. And then a little bit later, we still got too many hot dogs. I had another one. I found out that my boys each had like 5 or 6 hot dogs. Before we left, we still had there's like, Darin, take some more. I mean, I think I took 4 more with me. I think that day I ate 4 and then took a few home. But man, was I Another thing, this is the volunteer portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome. Again, my church, we do a lot of volunteer opportunities. So one of these things we did was they have this place where you can go and you can package up bagged food to send to needy countries. So what they do is they take these bags and they send them to this country near Somalia with all these people and they need food, they need fresh water. So we formed these assembly lines. And my job was to put the bag under the funnel. And then one person puts in protein powder, one person scoops in dried vegetables, another person scoops in soy, another person scoops in
You said
rice.
protein powder. I was like, what are they trying to get swole? Is that where? Okay.
No, you need protein.
I get it.
You need protein. And then you hand the bag off, and then they seal it, and we put it in a box. So we sent off like thousands of these bags. Right? And so, you know me, and when there's other kids, I like to mess with the kids.
Yeah.
The protein powder is yellow, and I got my bag under there, and I'm waiting for this little girl who's next to me to put the protein powder in. And I looked at her and I said, "Hey, I need you to put some of the banana powder in there." She says, "That's not banana powder." I said, "It looks like banana, but it's not."
You pissed her off.
I said, "But it looks like banana." And I said, "Well, then what is it?" She says, "It's soy." What did you think it was? I said, "I thought it was banana." And we're having so much fun with these kids.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper. Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and back in my 20s I made a pretty good living stripping wallpaper, and I always used Diff. I remember thinking that I could use an inferior product, take twice the time, and make more money. But honesty runs deep in my blood, and I'm brand loyal. I stand by Diff until the end of time.
Even Shadow Stevens agrees.
With its unique enzyme action, Diff dissolves old paste and cuts wallpaper removal time in half.
Thanks, Shadow.
Diff, the only one that really works.
That's right.
Back to you, Mike and Darin.
Now I want to talk about Mmm Bop.
Okay.
Okay. I love the song
So
Mmm Bop.
when you said they redid the song, they re-recorded
They
it?
re-recorded it. It's called Mmm Bop 2.0. It's Hanson, and it's really good. And the crazy thing is, after we were driving home from the volunteering, Jacob was driving. And we were in Jacob's car, and he wanted to play some songs that he likes. And he played a song called, was it The Six Shooter? It was really good. And then we did Tonight by
Smashing Pumpkins?
Shelly. No, Shelly Ray. Tonight, there's a rooftop party on the top of the world tonight. We like that song.
Okay.
He played like 5 or 6 songs that we like.
Okay.
Because we're getting into this thing where Jacob's like, how come you guys don't like my music?
Yeah.
Because if he starts playing, there's some rap music that he plays, and I'm sorry, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
But he played 4 or 5 songs that we really liked. And I said, well, why don't you listen to this?
Okay.
And I said, play Mmm Bop.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's that?
Yeah.
And he puts it on. He loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then we played You Make Me Feel Like Dancing by Leo Sayer. He loved that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because he likes songs that you can dance to.
Yeah.
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 But Hanson, God love him, have re-released Mmm Bop 2.0.
Re-recorded.
They re-recorded it, and since we can't play it, but I strongly encourage everybody to
Go listen to it and come back.
Go listen to it and come back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I want to talk about my neighbor, Chris Michael. Okay, it's hard to find a better neighbor than Chris Michael. If we go on vacation, Chris Michael comes over and he lets out our rabbit. He lets Figgy out a couple times a day.
Yeah.
Gives Figgy his food, his water, his hay. Lets him play, and he pets him and nuggles him, and then he puts him back in his cage.
Pets him and what?
And nuggles him. Yeah.
Okay. Is that legal?
Yeah, sure.
In Ohio?
Yeah, we're in Ohio, yeah. You can
Okay. Sometimes you got to take them over to Kentucky to.
Right. So not only does he do that, but if I need to borrow a tool, he has everything in his garage. If I can't get my lawnmower to start, he comes over and jumps my lawnmower.
Okay.
Well, he's within the last couple of weeks, he's done another thing for us that most people don't do. When we got the cake for the graduation party,
Yeah. He impersonated you.
No, I had. Well,
You
I
impersonated
him.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to keep the cake, and so he kept the cake in his refrigerator at his house. So he is now a licensed cake sitter.
Okay. Okay.
Because Libby came home, she's like, I thought you got the cake. I'm like, I did, but Chris is watching it for us.
Yeah. No, you brought up cake, and I want to talk about cake.
Oh, I love cake.
I bought, a few weeks ago, I bought 2 cakes, not made. Like cake mix, two things of cake mix, and 2 things of frosting. Now, one of them was spice cake.
Okay. I've had a spice cake.
Okay. I had not. I got that, and I got cream cheese icing to go on it because that seemed like what you would put on spice cake.
Yeah.
I made that. The family lost their minds.
Yeah.
They got a piece of cake, bite, and then look at me like serious, like they're about to call me out in a lineup. Like, that's the one. Like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Did you make that? Yes, I made that. I didn't. I mean, I just poured it into the thing, mixed it with water and egg
and the flour,
thing, and it came out that way. I did put the frosting on.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then Andrew got a piece of it. He's like, "Oh my Lord, where did this come from?" Well, okay. And then now I'm getting the ego.
Right.
I can't remember if Charlie liked it. I'm assuming that he does. It was an amazing cake. It lasted less than 24 hours in this house.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah. So around Father's Day.
Do you make it in a round pan or in
I made it in a
rectangular pan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a rectangle thing.
Okay.
So then I had a hankering for cake at about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I think it was like Friday. I can't remember when it was. And I'm looking through the cupboards and I noticed that the cake mix from the other cake, yellow cake, and I had vanilla icing.
Yeah.
I love yellow cake with vanilla icing.
Shut up. Yeah.
And I also have vanilla ice cream. I had a vanilla triumvirate there.
A vanilla what?
A triumvirate. It's a 3 and then an umvirate.
Triumvirate?
Yes. I don't know.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Look it up, kids.
You're very penultimate tonight. Yeah.
Go to irritabledadsyndrome.com and put triumvirate in the search and let me know what comes back.
Okay.
I made this cake late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got off a respectable piece of it, about yay big, and ate it standing in the kitchen.
Because you're a man.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then it was over too soon, so I got another piece. Not quite as big because I have a conscience. And then I went to bed. That's what you're supposed to do after you eat an inordinate amount of cake.
Load up on cake,
straight to bed. I had some interesting dreams.
Same rules if you think you have a concussion.
I don't think so.
Just go to bed.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
So
by the way, if you have a head injury, do not go to bed. Do not take any medical advice from us here on Irritable Dad Syndrome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike.
So I wake up and I look and there's small
What the
cake.
hell's wrong with
There's small cake dishes with lots of icing on them.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about it before in this podcast. My family does not like icing, frosting, all that stuff. I find that abhorrent.
Deplorable.
The only frosting
Abhorrent.
abhorrent. It's the word of the week. The only frosting / icing that I will remove from a cake is that Kroger Whippy.
It's just kind of grainy.
It's Cool Whip.
Cool Whip? Cool Whip, yeah.
Now, once I learned that it was Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. Everything tastes better with Cool Whip.
Once I learned it was that, I could stomach it. I could
Okay.
be like, okay, I need to eat this now that I know that's what it is. Why don't they call it that? If it's some licensing thing, you can't do that. But Bess, for the entire time that I've known her, every piece of cake that she's ever gotten, she will get 2 or 3 bites in and she'll say, it's just too much icing. And she'll scrape it off. To me, that's like watching someone kick a puppy.
Yeah.
I get upset.
Libby does the same thing. It's like Bess and Libby were separated at birth.
So when you had your amazing cake at
Costco cake
at that party,
Yeah.
they had balloons that come up about an inch off. It's all frosting.
Yeah.
I got as much of a balloon as I could get.
Yeah.
As I was cutting it, I remember thinking, Mike, this isn't your cake. This is Jacob's
You should
cake.
let Jacob or Cameron eat the balloon.
No one else got a balloon.
Uh-huh.
And then you seem to be cutting the balloon.
You had
And
a
then
balloon, didn't you?
The other side of me said, it's a purple one.
Oh.
The purple ones are the best.
Yeah.
And if the rest of these people
Yeah.
are too nice,
Yeah.
too beta
Yeah.
to get that balloon, then I'll go in and I'll get that balloon. I'll teach them a lesson. Be more assertive. Get your balloon. And I enjoyed it. And I got halfway through eating the balloon and I started to think, that's too much icing. And I pushed that way down deep inside to make more room for the balloon. It's beautiful.
Well, I was outside when I found out that they had gotten into the cake. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
And I went in and there were 4 pieces of cake left.
Oh,
I'm like, I bought the cake.
Yeah. So now let's come back to the cake that I had in this house this weekend. I watched Bess in the morning, and I exclaimed curse words when she did this to the point where she almost choked. She started laughing so hard. She cut a piece of cake. It somehow landed on her plate on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It flipped over, icing down, and then in one movement with her wrist, she flipped it, and it flipped icingless upright next to a
Sorcery.
perfect icing on thing. And then instead of, like she should have done, instead of screaming in disgust and throwing that in the trash like the abomination that it is, she dove into the uniced, unfrosted cake and put that in her mouth.
What?
And finished it and
you're-
then scraped the frosting into the trash and put the plate into the sink like a freaking barbarian.
I'm listening, but I'm also going on Google looking up marriage counselors.
I
That's
was
appalled.
that was
abhorrent.
part of me was appalled, but another part of me was was impressed that in one deft move she de-iced the cake.
Yeah.
It was like the flick of a wrist.
Yeah.
Because that icing was on that cake. I put that icing on that cake.
Yeah.
Hard.
Hello.
So that's what she said.
I wasn't hard when I was putting
Right.
You know what I mean. You know what I'm
So
saying.
we had a Costco cake
Yeah.
at Jacob's graduation party. A week before, we had a Costco cake.
Yeah.
Because the week before was when all the family were up. Eddie,
Uh-huh.
Gina, Ryan, my mom, Aunt Peggy.
So you had 2 Costco cakes?
And
How are you not in the emergency room now?
we had 1 week apart.
Okay.
Okay. So when my birthday rolled around, Libby asked, "Do you want a Costco cake?" I'm like, "No." I was like,
Yeah.
"I would love one, but no, because you need like 30 people to eat one of those Costco cakes." And I said, "No, just don't buy me one, but if you make me one,
Yeah.
but this time I want a butt cake." She says, "You mean a bunt cake?" I said, "No, it's called a butt cake."
Okay. Okay.
We've got the bunt pan,
Yeah.
right, and we never use it. I was like, "I want a bunt cake."
Yeah.
But I call it a butt cake because butt cake is funny.
Yeah.
I want a butt cake.
It is funny.
And so Libby finds like, okay, well, I don't know how to frost a butt cake.
Yeah.
She says, you got to melt it and drizzle it. I'm like, no, just slap it on there.
Yeah.
She goes, but it's going to look ugly. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
going to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, years ago, I made her a birthday cake.
Uh-huh.
And I took the fork. When you frost a cake, do you take your fork and do the wavy lines?
No.
You do, yeah.
But I have a new technique that I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I whip it like crazy until it's like mostly it gets softer, and then you can just spread it all over there without ripping the top layer of the cake.
Oh,
I've learned that.
Well, the trick to not tearing the top layer off the cake is to let it cool down long enough.
Yeah, even when I do that, I still.
If you ice it when it's still hot, yeah.
You need to understand
This
how
is a comedy podcast, by the way.
You need to
folks.
understand how I come to cake. I come to cake like a junkie.
Okay, yeah.
I'm shaking.
Yeah.
I need that cake.
Yeah.
And I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's everything in my power to not just eat that frosting raw.
Right.
As that it gets on the spoon, it's not guaranteed that it's going to make it on the cake. It may hit my mouth before it gets there. So I'm shaking. And that's got to be factored in.
But you got to let the frosting warm up, and you got to let the cake cool before you ice it. Anyway, so we had the butt cake, and Livy put the frosting on it, and she goes, I don't think it's really pretty. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to put that in my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And it was, and I don't know why, but butt cake tastes better than when you eat it in a slice, than you eat it in a little square.
Well, here's something that I want to do, and I call this when I give up, when I've just have given up. I've talked about it before on this podcast. I didn't call it my give up moment, but I want to get a plethora of ice cream sandwiches.
Okay.
And I want to have an ice cream sandwich, and then another ice cream sandwich to make an ice cream sandwich of ice cream sandwiches and eat that. And I told Bess that, and she just looked at me like she needs to take me to the hospital. But I want to, and I came up with this idea while I was at your house eating your cake with the balloon.
Yeah.
I would like to order a fresh, new cake from, Costco.
Yeah.
Put it on the table, lay it all out on the table, and just reach in with my hands and grab a handful of cake and eat it and just be nasty and lick my hands and then just go and eat as much as I can before I pass out into the cake. And then someone just leave me there. I mean, if I go face down, put a straw or a snorkel in there.
Now, did you guys do that for your kids' birthdays when they were little?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Cameron was 1 and Libby...
Let him go in there.
Exactly.
And
Libby bought him a brand new little blue and white outfit. I'm like, why? Because I was going to put him in a oneie or just in his diaper.
Yeah.
But no, he has to have a new outfit for his birthday. I was like, okay. So we were in North Carolina and we went there and we were staying at a hotel and everybody's there at this hotel. And I asked the people who work there, I said, can we use the little room where you have the morning breakfast for this birthday party? Absolutely. And you can even borrow this high chair.
Oh.
So Cameron's there and he's got we cut him a piece of cake and he picks it up, looks at it, bam! Instantly, all over the face. It gets all over him.
Yeah.
It gets all over the high chair.
That's a good time.
Oh, yeah, it was great. After he was done, Libby's mom and Libby took Cameron and took him and put him in the bathtub
Okay.
in their hotel room. We ended up having to throw the outfit away. Could not wash the stuff out. I went to the front desk and I said, I need all the cleaning supplies and wash towels that you have to clean your high chair. And they're like, oh, we'll do that. I was like, you don't want a part of this.
Yeah.
It took me like an hour to clean the high chair, but it's cake everywhere.
Astute listeners to the podcast will think, well, Mike said he has a problem with food touching his face. Not cake.
Not cake.
I will smear cake. You remember in Mrs. Doubtfire when he put his he put his face in the cake and came up and it looked like a mask.
Yeah,
gets me every time.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Whoppers all-beef foot-long hot dogs. Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and I'm proud to be their spokesman. You see, Whoppers isn't just a brand of hot dog. It's a life-changing experience. You try a Whoppers all-beef foot-long hot dog one time, and I bet you all the money in my wallet that you'll come back for more. Even Shadow Stevens agrees.
Nothing tastes better at a cookout than a Whoppers all-beef foot-long hot dog.
Thanks, Shadow. Whoppers are packed full of flavor with no fillers and no preservatives. And remember, get a ruler and measure it yourself. If your hot dog isn't a foot long, they'll refund your money guaranteed. Now back to you guys in the studio.
I had to run out and do some errands.
Okay.
And I hadn't eaten yet. So I ran through Taco Bell.
Okay.
And I got 2 5-layer beefy burritos.
Okay.
I love the beefy burritos at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I pull into the place where I'm getting ready to do my first errand, and I'm going to eat, because you can't eat Taco Bell while you're driving. Right?
Yes, you can.
Well, you can
It depends on what you get.
if you want to spill it all over yourself.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there in the parking lot. I'm eating my Taco Bell. And what happens? But somebody pulls up right in front of me, parking.
Yeah.
And they stay in their truck.
And they're just watching you eat Taco Bell.
And they've got a tinted window. So I don't know if they're just staring at me.
I hate that.
I'm like, so I'm just like, like eating like I'm going to eat this gingerly.
Yeah.
And then I eat a little bit more, and then they don't leave, and their engine's running.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello, what are you, a freak?
Yeah.
And they just keep looking at me. Well, I assume they're looking
just
at me.
stare unblinking of where they would be the entire time while you eat the taco.
I should just stare right at them and just put the food right in my mouth. Just like, just push it in there.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Anyway, I got uncomfortable after a while. I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
I backed the car out and I parked somewhere else.
that wasn't awkward at all.
Because I don't, it's like, I'm trying to eat here.
Yeah.
Stop staring at me.
Yeah.
What happens? Somebody pulls up next to me in a different car. And I was like, is anybody going to let me eat my food?
Oh,
I'm in a
Lord.
parking lot. It's my God-given right to eat Taco Bell in a parking lot. Do you remember when we went and taught the class on how to do a podcast?
I went when we talked to a class about a podcast.
Yeah, we talked to the class and we taught them what we know about making a podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was, can you do a podcast about anything?
Yes.
And I said, yeah, you can do a podcast about anything. I said, if you want to do a podcast on your favorite type of cereal and eat a different type of cereal every week, you can do that.
Yeah.
Turns out there's a guy,
yeah.
Cereal Time. I reached out to him, tried to get Mr. Cereal Time to be a guest on this show.
Yeah.
Never heard back.
Okay. Well, he's too big now.
Well, I found out that he's retiring. He's no longer doing Cereal Time.
Did he run out of cereal, maybe?
Oh, no.
Oh.
No. He still has. I cannot recommend strongly enough to go to Twitter or YouTube and look up Cereal Time and watch this guy, because he is fascinating.
Yeah.
He talks about the box. He talks about the toy that came in. He talks about the texture. It tastes kind of like this, but it's colored this. He's done like his top 10 favorites, his what the cereal I used to like.
Oh, yeah,
it's fascinating. And he knows every cereal that's ever. He is the Adam Needif of cereals.
So I have two things.
Yeah.
One is I got a Crunch Cup. In fact, I got 2 Crunch Cups.
Okay.
It's the greatest thing I own.
What's a Crunch Cup?
It allows you to eat cereal while you're driving,
Okay.
while you're walking, whatever. It's a cup that has the milk on the outside and the cereal's on the inside. And when you tip it up, the milk and the cereal come into your mouth at the same time.
Shut up.
Yeah, and you can control how much milk goes in with your. I'll show you how to do it. It's amazing. That's how I eat breakfast. I eat cereal while I'm driving to work.
How have I not known about the Crunch Cup?
I'm going to show you a Crunch Cup when we go up there. It's amazing.
We want to thank you for listening, and we, as always, we encourage you to go to irritabledadsyndrome.com and listen to download as many episodes as you want. They're all there. 156 is going to be a candidate for the Podcast Hall of Fame.
It's pretty good.
Honest to God, seriously. Yeah, you're going to like that one. So, take care of yourselves and each other. And we hope to see you again. I stole that from Cherry. He's dead. He can't sue me.
He can't.
We hope to see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Well, that's it for this week. Keep it real. And as always, word to your mother.
And you thought we had nothing to talk about. It started with wieners and ended up at a wholesome place.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. Boy, we sure need a rain give what?
We need to end this.
We do.
Mmm Bop, doop dop bop boom bop, dippy dop bop boom bop, dippy dop bop boom bop. Oh yeah, boom bop, dippy dop bop boom bop.